And honestly, Vanessa laughed, lifting her wine glass in the candlelight, every family needs a bank account. Meet ours. Then she pointed at me. Everyone laughed. Even my son. I smiled anyway. I'm glad you're here. Follow my story until the end, and tell me where you're watching from. Because sometimes the people who break your heart are not strangers. Sometimes they are the ones sitting across from you at Thanksgiving dinner, eating the food you cooked, drinking from the glasses you washed, and calling it love. My name is Margaret Whitaker. I was 68 years old at Thanksgiving, a widow of 8 years, and still foolish enough to believe that family traditions meant something if you held them tightly enough. Thanksgiving had always been my holiday, not because I wanted attention, not because I needed praise, but because it was the one day every year when my house, or later my son Daniel's house, felt almost whole again. After my husband Richard died, I kept the recipes exactly the same. The green bean casserole with fried onions. The mashed potatoes with too much butter because Richard used to say holidays were not made for dieting. The cranberry sauce Daniel used to steal by the spoonful when he was little. The pumpkin pies cooling on the passenger seat like fragile passengers. That year, I drove 3 hours north on Interstate 95 with a 16-pound turkey in the backseat of my Buick, and 2 pies sliding every time I tapped the brakes. I remember gripping the steering wheel tighter near Stamford traffic. I remember the gray November sky, the bare trees, the radio playing old Christmas songs too early. I remember thinking Richard would have complained about the traffic, then reached over and squeezed my knee. When I pulled into Daniel and Vanessa's driveway a little after noon, Vanessa was already standing on the lawn with her phone raised. "Margaret's here," she called brightly. "Not Mom. Not Grandma. Margaret." She turned the phone toward me as I stepped out of the car. "Everyone loves Grandma Margaret's cooking," she said, smiling in that polished way she had, the kind of smile that looked beautiful in photographs and cold in real life. I lifted the pie carrier carefully. "Happy Thanksgiving," I said. Inside, the house looked perfect. Too perfect. Candles along the dining table. Gold pumpkins on the runner. Folded name cards at each plate in Vanessa's elegant handwriting. The smell of cinnamon, rosemary, and expensive perfume hung in the air. If a stranger had walked in, they would have thought it was the happiest family in Connecticut. Daniel hugged me quickly, one arm around my shoulder, his eyes already drifting toward the laptop open on the kitchen counter. "Hey Mom. Traffic okay?" "Only near Stamford," I said. "I brought the sweet potatoes too." "Perfect," Vanessa answered before he could. "You always save Thanksgiving." Sounded kind. Almost. Then Lily ran into the kitchen, her brown curls bouncing, and wrapped her arms around my waist. "Grandma, Mommy said your turkey is famous." I kissed the top of her head. "Well, your grandfather would argue it is still too dry." She giggled and ran off. For a few minutes I let myself believe everything was fine. That is one of the habits older women develop. We become experts at turning small hurts into background noise. A tone. A look. A name left off a group message. A chair moved from its usual place. We notice. Then we tell ourselves not to be sensitive. So I helped. I carried dishes. I arranged rolls. I warmed gravy. Vanessa moved around the kitchen like she was hosting a television show, adjusting candles, repositioning wine glasses, asking people not to touch appetizers until she had photographed the table. At one point, she handed me the gravy boat. "Margaret, hold this near the window. The lighting is beautiful." I stood there with both hands wrapped around warm porcelain while she snapped pictures. "Perfect," she said. "You look adorable." Adorable. I was 68 years old. I had buried a husband, raised a son, managed a home, balanced checkbooks, survived hospital corridors, estate paperwork, and nights so quiet the refrigerator sounded like company. But to Vanessa, holding a gravy boat in her kitchen, I was adorable. Dinner began around 4. Vanessa sat at the head of the table beside Daniel, even though Richard had always believed the oldest person should sit there. My old silver serving tray, the one Richard's mother gave us in 1974, had been placed near Vanessa instead of near me. Another small thing. Another quiet rearrangement of history. Halfway through dinner, Vanessa stood and lifted her glass. "Before dessert," she said, "I just want to say how thankful I am for this family." Everyone smiled. Lily clapped. Vanessa looked around the table as if she had rehearsed this. Every successful family has that one person who keeps everything running. The glue. The support system. The safety net. Daniel chuckled softly. My stomach tightened. And honestly, she laughed, every family also needs a bank account. Then she pointed directly at me. Meet ours. The laughter came too quickly. That was what hurt first. Not the joke. The speed. Like everyone already knew their part. Carol, my sister-in-law, looked down at her plate. Someone coughed. Daniel smiled into his wine glass instead of looking at me. If he had said, Vanessa, that is enough, I think my heart might have survived differently. But he did not. He reached for the gravy. Vanessa touched his arm. Oh, come on, she said. Margaret knows we are joking. I swallowed. Of course, I said. It is Thanksgiving. And just like that, I became smaller at the table I had spent my life feeding. Humiliation does not always arrive as shouting. Sometimes it arrives with candlelight. With roasted turkey. With polite laughter from people who want the dinner to stay pleasant more than they want the truth to be spoken. I remember staring at my mashed potatoes while steam rose slowly from them. My fork was still in my hand, but I could not remember picking it up. Across the table, Lily was humming to herself, carefully separating marshmallows from the sweet potatoes. She was too young to understand what had happened. Part of me was grateful. Part of me was ashamed. Vanessa sat down, still smiling. Honestly though, she continued, I tell my friends all the time we would never survive without Margaret. She is like our emergency fund with pearls. A few people chuckled again. Softer this time. Nervous. Daniel finally said, Vanessa. But there was no warning in his voice. No protection. Just mild discomfort, as if she had spilled gravy on the tablecloth. What? Vanessa said. I am complimenting her generosity. Complimenting. That word entered me like cold water. I looked at Daniel. He shrugged. Mom likes helping people. There it was. The sentence that changed something in me. Not because it was cruel. Because it was casual. Like my sacrifices had become a personality trait. Like writing checks, solving emergencies, absorbing panic, and giving pieces of my future away were simply things I enjoyed. Mom likes helping people. I suddenly remembered every check. The $35,000 for their first house when the bank said they were short. The $28,000 for Daniel's consulting business when he lost 2 clients. The tuition assistance for Lily's private school because Vanessa said public schools were too limiting. The Caribbean trip Vanessa insisted was important after Daniel lost his job. Because couples need to reconnect after stress. The braces. The dental surgery. The credit card consolidation. The furnace repair. The property tax bill one difficult winter. Each one had seemed reasonable at the time. Urgent. Temporary. Loving. Richard and I had worked 43 years to be secure. We drove used cars. We packed sandwiches for road trips. We skipped vacations when Daniel needed summer programs. We believed sacrifice was what parents did so their children could stand taller than we did. But somewhere along the way, generosity had stopped being seen as love. It had become infrastructure. Something they built their life on without asking whether the foundation was cracking. Okay, everybody, Vanessa said suddenly, lifting her phone. Thanksgiving selfie. Everyone leaned in. I did too. That may sound strange, but pain does not always make you brave immediately. Sometimes pain makes you obedient. You do the expected thing because not doing it would reveal too much. Say grateful, Vanessa chirped. The flash went off. Later, when I saw my reflection in the dark dining room window, I barely recognized myself. Gray hair curled carefully that morning. Pearl earrings Richard had given me. For our 25th anniversary. Lipstick still neat. I was trying not to cry. Dessert came. Coffee brewed. Football played softly from the living room. The rhythm of Thanksgiving continued, but something inside me had stepped out of the room and would not return. I began noticing details I had ignored before. Vanessa complained about private school tuition, while wearing a diamond bracelet I had never seen. Daniel mentioned rising mortgage payments, then joked about maybe taking Lily skiing for Christmas. Every conversation somehow brushed against money, and every time it did, their eyes found me. Not long. Just enough. A glance. A pause. A little opening left in the air where I was supposed to step in. By 7:30, people were putting on coats. Leftovers were packed into containers. Carol hugged me too tightly and whispered, "Drive safe." I knew she had heard everything. I also knew she would say nothing. In the kitchen, I washed dishes because I needed something to do with my hands. Vanessa stood near the island with her friend Melissa, both holding wine glasses, scrolling through photos. "This one is cute," Melissa said. "You really make hosting look effortless." Vanessa laughed. "Please. Thanksgiving only works because Margaret basically bankrolls half the holiday." I kept my hands in the dishwater. Warm water. Grease. Soap bubbles. The smell of turkey fat and cinnamon. "I swear," Vanessa continued, lowering her voice but not enough, "if Daniel and I ever got into real trouble, she would probably hand over her house keys with a smile." Melissa gave a surprised laugh. "Seriously?" "Oh, completely," Vanessa said. "Margaret still sees Daniel like he is 12 years old. Sometimes I think she likes being needed more than she likes being respected." My hand stopped moving. Richard used to say people reveal themselves in unguarded moments. Not during speeches. Not during arguments. Just ordinary conversations when they forget someone might be listening. Daniel came into the kitchen and opened the refrigerator. "What are you two talking about?" Vanessa smirked. "Your mother's retirement plan." Daniel laughed under his breath. "At least somebody in this family has savings." I closed my eyes for 1 second. Then I turned around. "Daniel." He looked at me startled. "Hey, Mom. Need help with dishes?" "No," I said. "I am fine." Vanessa's face changed instantly. Bright again. Sweet again. "Margaret, dinner was amazing. Everyone was talking about your stuffing." I dried my hand slowly. "I should head home. It is a long drive." "Already?" she asked. But her shoulders relaxed. Daniel checked his watch. "Yeah, we should probably get Lily ready for bed." There it was. The dismissal wrapped in practicality. At the door, Lily hugged me. "Will you come for Christmas too?" I kissed her forehead. "We will see, sweetheart." Daniel walked me outside with the empty pie carrier. The air was cold enough to sting my cheeks. For a moment, we stood beneath the porch light. "Don't take Vanessa too seriously," he said. "She jokes around." I looked at my son. 41 years old. Silver beginning near his temples. The same boy I once carried through fever nights. The same man who now could not defend me at his own table. "That is the problem, Daniel," I said quietly. "People usually joke about things they truly believe." He looked uncomfortable. "Mom, come on." But I took the pie carrier from his hands, got into my Buick and drove away. In the rearview mirror, their warm yellow house grew smaller. For the first time, it did not look like family. It looked like a place where I had been useful. I arrived home a little after 11. The house was dark except for the porch light I had left on. Normally after Thanksgiving, I came home tired in a pleasant way. I would unpack leftovers, rinse serving dishes, maybe sit with a cup of tea and replay small happy moments. Richard carving turkey in his ridiculous apron. Daniel asleep on the couch after too much pie. Football murmuring while dishes soaked in the sink. That night, I stood in the hallway with my coat still on. The grandfather clock ticked near the staircase. Richard bought that clock the year Daniel graduated high school. "A house should sound alive," he had said. For the first time since he died, the house did not sound alive. It sounded like it was keeping count. I hung my coat. Carefully. My hands moved from habit. That is what habit does for grief. It carries you when your heart refuses. Then I walked into my home office and turned on the brass desk lamp. The room glowed slowly. There were framed photos on the shelves. Richard holding Lily as a baby. Daniel at his college graduation. A Cape Cod vacation from years ago. All of us squinting into sunlight. We looked happy in every picture. Photographs are generous that way. They do not show what came after. I opened the bottom filing drawer labeled family. Richard used to tease me for labeling everything. "You could survive a government audit better than most accountants," he would say. Inside were folders. Manila. Neat. Dated. I pulled the first stack onto the desk. Daniel and Vanessa house down payment. $35,000. I remembered that phone call. Daniel's voice low, embarrassed. "Mom, the bank says we are short." I wired the money the next morning. Next folder. Lily tuition assistance. $8,000 a year for 6 years. Vanessa had said, "It is not about status, Margaret. It is about opportunity." Next. Emergency business loan. $28,000. Richard had still been alive then. I remembered him sitting at that same desk, rubbing his forehead after Daniel left. "Margaret," he said gently, "helping once is kindness. Helping forever becomes dependency." I defended Daniel immediately. "He is our son." Richard looked at me with such sadness. "I know. That is why I am worried. At the time I thought he was being hard. Cold even. Now his words sat in the room like someone who had been waiting years for me to hear them. I kept opening folders. Caribbean resort payment. Credit card consolidation. Dental surgery. Summer camp. Appliance replacement. Furnace repair. Property taxes. Smaller things. Larger things. All of them carrying the same emotional pattern. A crisis. A call. A pause. Then me saying, "Let me see what I can do." I reached for the calculator. At first I told myself I only wanted a rough number. But rough numbers become exact when your hands are shaking and your heart is trying to understand whether love has been turned into a habit. The final number glowed on the screen after almost an hour. $432,000. I stared. $432,000. Enough to buy a modest home outright in some states. Enough to travel. Enough to secure the rest of my own life without worry. Enough to change someone's future. And I had handed it over piece by piece because I believed I was protecting family. The money itself was not what broke me. Richard and I had done well. We had planned carefully. We were not wealthy in the flashy way Vanessa admired, but we were secure. What hurt was realizing that none of it had built gratitude. It had built expectation. I leaned back in the leather chair and looked at the Cape Cod photo. Daniel had his arm around Vanessa. Lily was on Richard's shoulders. The ocean wind had blown my hair across my face, and Richard was laughing at me. We looked unbreakable. I picked up the frame and touched Richard's face through the glass. "I should have listened," I whispered. Around 1 in the morning my phone buzzed. "Vanessa." I almost ignored it. Then I answered. "Margaret," she said sweetly. "I just wanted to make sure you got home safely." "I did." "Good. And please don't take tonight too seriously. We all tease each other. You know that." I said nothing. Silence makes people nervous when they are used to controlling the conversation. After a pause, she continued. "Actually, Daniel and I wanted to talk to you sometime next week about a possible business opportunity downtown. Nothing huge. We just value your opinion." Opinion. That was an interesting word. "I am tired tonight, Vanessa," I said. "Of course. We can talk soon." After I hung up, I looked at the folders spread across the desk. For the first time in years, I did not feel guilty for wanting something to change. The following Tuesday, rain tapped against my kitchen windows. I stood in my robe waiting for coffee to brew, listening to the same old house sounds I had known for decades. The refrigerator hummed. The pipes clicked. The stairs creaked when the heat came on. These were the sounds of the life Richard and I built. Not glamorous. Not perfect. But ours. I had barely slept since Thanksgiving. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Daniel smiling into his wine glass. Not Vanessa pointing at me. Daniel. That was the part my mind kept returning to. A daughter-in-law can be cruel and still remain, in some ways, outside the deepest room of your heart. But a son? A son is different. I remembered Daniel at 8 years old standing in the kitchen in dinosaur pajamas, asking if I would still love him if he got bad grades forever. I remembered him at 17, pretending not to cry when we left him at college. I remembered him calling after Richard died, his voice broken, saying, "I don't know how to be without Dad." And now I remembered him laughing while his wife called me a bank account. At 10 that morning he called. "Hi, Mom," he said too cheerfully. Sweetheart. "Listen, Vanessa and I are touring that restaurant property this afternoon. You remember the one downtown?" Of course I remembered. Vanessa had practically sparkled talking about it at Thanksgiving. "I remember. The owner is desperate to sell," Daniel said. "It could be an amazing investment opportunity." Investment. There it was again. I looked out at the rain sliding down the glass. That sounds exciting. Yeah, he said. We were hoping maybe you could come by later this week, so we could show you some numbers. Numbers. Nobody said money. They rarely did at first. They walked around it like furniture in a dark room. I will think about it, I said. Daniel paused. Usually I said yes before the request even finished forming. Okay, he said slowly. Just let us know. After we hung up, I sat in Richard's old recliner. The cushion still dipped slightly on the left side where his body had rested for years. There was a small stack of books beside it, mostly history and mysteries, still arranged the way he liked. I had never moved them. Some people clear grief quickly. I preserved mine in corners. 6 months before Richard died, Daniel had asked us for another loan. $20,000 after a risky business mistake. I said yes immediately. Richard did not. We already helped him twice this year, he told me later. Families help each other, I said. Yes, Richard replied. But healthy adults eventually learn to carry their own weight. I was angry with him for days. Now I sat in his chair, older and lonelier, realizing he had not been unkind. He had simply seen further down the road than I had. That afternoon, I went to the grocery store because I needed to be around ordinary life. Carts squeaking, children asking for cereal, a woman comparing prices on chicken breasts. The store still had leftover Thanksgiving displays. Discounted cranberry sauce. Piecrasts. Turkeys marked down because celebration had passed. I was standing near Apple's when my phone buzzed. A voicemail from Vanessa. I almost ignored it. Then I pressed play. Her voice came through rushed and distracted. Hey babe, I talked to Daniel. I think your mom will do it if we make it emotional enough. She still feels guilty anytime he struggles financially. Honestly, as long as she feels needed, she'll keep paying. Just let me handle the conversation Friday night. A pause. Then softer. And if we can get her to refinance the house instead of just giving us cash up front, that would actually help us a lot more long term. The message ended. I stood beside a display of Honeycrisp apples, unable to move. A woman reached around me politely. Excuse me. I stepped aside. Bread. Milk. Coffee creamer. Apples. Fluorescent lights. The world continued. Mine did not. I played the message again. Same words. Make it emotional enough. As long as she feels needed. Refinance the house. For a moment I felt almost outside my body, watching an old woman in a beige coat stand frozen in a grocery store aisle. Vanessa did not see me as family. She saw me as a strategy. And Daniel? That was the harder question. Had he agreed? Had he listened? Had he stayed quiet the way he stayed quiet at Thanksgiving? I put the phone back in my purse with trembling hands. At checkout, the young cashier asked if I found everything okay. I looked at the groceries moving slowly across the belt. Milk. Bread. Apples. Coffee. Yes, I said. But that was the first lie I told after learning the truth. Friday arrived colder than expected. The forecast said 38 degrees with possible sleet by evening. Gray clouds hung low over Connecticut, making the whole afternoon feel dim before sunset. Vanessa texted twice. Can't wait to see you tonight, smiling face with smiling eyes. Daniel says you'll love the pasta place we ordered from, smiling face with smiling eyes. Every little smiley face felt like someone wiping fingerprints from a knife. By 4:30, I put on my camel wool coat. Richard bought it for me on our last trip to Boston. He said the color made me look expensive. I told him that was the nicest way anyone had ever called me old. I wore it now like armor. The drive north felt longer than 3 hours. I passed bare trees, gas stations, glowing pharmacy signs, small houses with early Christmas lights. I thought of all the families inside them. Some loving. Some pretending. Some sitting around tables where someone elderly was being quietly diminished, and no one had the courage to name it. When I arrived, Vanessa opened the door before I reached the porch. Margaret, she said, pulling me into a quick hug. Her perfume was sweet and expensive. I am so glad you came. Daniel stood near the kitchen island. Papers were spread beside his laptop. Financial projections. Renovation estimates. Loan comparisons. My stomach tightened. This was not dinner. This was a meeting with candles. Hey Mom, Daniel said, kissing my cheek. We ordered from that Italian place you like. I looked at the documents. Vanessa noticed. Don't panic, she laughed lightly. We are not ambushing you. The word hung there. Ambushing. During dinner they were unusually attentive. Vanessa refilled my wine glass though I barely drank. Daniel asked about my garden. Lily showed me a construction paper turkey she had made at school. Grandma, mine has real feathers, she whispered. It is beautiful, I said. And it was. For a few minutes, Lily's small voice made the room human again. That was what made the betrayal complicated. It never arrived in a room that was entirely evil. There were always innocent things nearby. A child's drawing. Warm bread. Christmas lights in a window. Then dessert plates disappeared. Daniel opened the laptop. Vanessa moved into the chair beside me. We just want your opinion, she said. Daniel turned the screen toward me. Renderings of the restaurant space appeared. Exposed brick. Edison lights. Outdoor patio. Marble bar. Everything looked expensive. The owner is retiring, Daniel said. If we move quickly, we can lock in the lease. Vanessa leaned forward. It could completely change our lives. I nodded and studied the numbers. Renovation costs alone were almost $400,000. That is a major investment, I said. Daniel cleared his throat. That is where things get complicated. Of course they did. Vanessa touched my hand gently. Margaret, we know you have always believed in family. The wording was so polished it almost sounded rehearsed. Daniel slid a document toward me. Home equity refinancing paperwork. My chest went cold. Vanessa's voice softened. Your house is almost fully paid off. If you refinanced, it would free up enough capital for us to secure the restaurant without draining your savings directly. My house. The house Richard and I spent 36 years paying off. The house where Daniel took his first steps. The house where Richard came home from chemo and slept in the downstairs bedroom because he could no longer climb the stairs. The house where I learned how loud widowhood could be. Daniel finally looked at me. Mom, this could set us up long term. Set us up. I studied him. He did not look ashamed. He looked hopeful. Expectant. That was when I understood something painful. They did not see risk in asking this because I had trained them for years to believe I would sacrifice myself before letting them feel discomfort. Vanessa smiled. You know we would never ask if it wasn't important. I folded the paperwork closed. For once I did not rush to save them. It is a big decision, I said. Of course, Vanessa replied quickly, but impatience flickered behind her smile. Daniel leaned forward. We are not asking you to give anything away. Once the restaurant takes off, everybody wins. Everybody. Interesting. Have you spoken with a bank about business financing? I asked. Daniel hesitated. Vanessa answered. Traditional lenders are being difficult right now. Restaurants are considered high risk. High risk. Even the bank did not trust the plan. But they expected me to. How much debt are you already carrying? I asked. The room changed. Daniel shifted. Vanessa laughed lightly. Margaret, everybody has debt. That was not my question. Silence. Daniel rubbed his neck. Between the mortgage, credit cards, and business expenses, around $180,000. I kept my face still. $180,000. And they wanted my home on top of that. I need time to think, I said. Vanessa blinked. How much time? A few weeks. Daniel frowned. Mom, we could lose the property by then. I met his eyes. Then maybe it is not the right investment. No one spoke. Vanessa's smile tightened. Family supports each other, she said softly. I stood and reached for my purse. It is getting late. Roads will freeze. Daniel followed me to the door. Mom, are you upset? I buttoned my coat slowly. I am tired. Vanessa stepped closer. We are just trying to build something meaningful for Lily's future. There it was. The child. The guilt. The familiar doorway. I put on my gloves. Funny thing about meaningful futures, I said quietly. They usually require personal responsibility. Vanessa froze for half a second, then smiled again. Daniel opened the door. Cold air rushed in. Call me tomorrow, he asked. I nodded, but I did not promise. Over the next 2 weeks I stopped rescuing people. Sounds simple when I say it now. It was not. For someone like me, saying no did not feel powerful at first. It felt unnatural, almost cruel. My whole identity had been built around being available, being useful, being the steady person. The one who answered calls, wrote checks, brought casseroles, remembered birthdays, forgave tones, overlooked absences, and said, "Don't worry, we will figure it out." But after the voicemail, every request sounded different. When Daniel called about an unexpected furnace repair, I listened. "I am sorry to hear that," I said. Then I stopped. There was a long pause. Usually I would ask how much. Usually I would say, "Let me help." Daniel waited for the familiar door to open. It did not. "Yeah," he said finally. "It's just bad timing." "I know," I said. Another pause. "Well, I'll figure it out." "I'm sure you will." After we hung up, I sat at the kitchen table with both hands wrapped around my coffee mug. My heart was pounding. Nothing dramatic had happened. No argument. No shouting. Just a silence where my money used to be. Vanessa began texting more often. Links to restaurant design ideas. Photos of exposed brick walls. Messages like, "Imagine how beautiful this could be for the family." And, "Lily said she wants to help decorate the kids' dessert corner someday." I responded with short sentences. "Looks nice. That sounds exciting. Good luck with planning." The warmer they became, the clearer their fear showed. One afternoon, flowers arrived. White lilies and pale pink roses. The card read, "Margaret, thank you for always being the heart of this family. Love, Vanessa and Daniel." A year earlier I might have cried. This time I placed the flowers on the counter and stared at them. They looked less like gratitude, more like bait. The biggest change happened inside me. Without the constant pressure of fixing their emergencies, my mind grew quieter. I slept through the night twice in 1 week. Then 3 times. I joined a Wednesday walking group at the community center. The first morning I almost turned around in the parking lot. I felt foolish, old, out of place. Then a woman in a red coat waved. "You must be Margaret." "I'm Judith." Judith was 72, widowed 11 years, sharp as a sewing needle, and kind in a way that did not ask for anything. We walked slowly around the indoor track while other seniors passed us in sneakers and windbreakers. After coffee, I told her only a little. Enough. She stirred cream into her cup and said, "You know what the hardest lesson is at our age?" "What?" "Learning that some people only panic when your usefulness disappears." I looked down at my hands. That sentence stayed with me all day. The following Friday, Daniel called. "Mom, are you free Sunday afternoon?" "Why?" A pause. "Vanessa wants to do another family dinner. Just us. No pressure." No pressure usually means pressure is waiting in another room. "All right," I said. "I can stop by." Sunday evening was cold and windy. Christmas decorations glowed along the neighborhood when I parked outside Daniel's house. I carried homemade cookies for Lily because children should not be punished for adult greed. The moment Vanessa opened the door, I knew. The dining room table was covered in paperwork. Contracts. Notebooks. Financial statements. A leather folder positioned carefully beside my usual chair. They had staged the room before I arrived. "Margaret," Vanessa said brightly, "thank you for coming." Daniel barely touched dinner. He kept glancing at the folder. Vanessa carried the conversation with too much energy. My sweater. My walking group. The cookies. The weather. Lily's school project. Everything but the papers. Finally, after dessert, Vanessa folded her hands. "We need to finalize things," she said. "Another buyer is interested." Daniel pushed the leather folder toward me. "These are the refinance documents." I did not open it. Vanessa leaned closer. "Margaret, this opportunity could change Lily's entire future." Daniel added, "Without you, we lose the deal." Without you. Not without money. Without you. They were still dressing dependents as love. I reached into my purse and removed a thick cream-colored folder. The room shifted. Vanessa blinked. Daniel frowned. I placed it on the table. "Before we discuss refinancing my house," I said, "there are a few things you both need to understand." No one spoke. Outside, wind rattled against the windows. I opened the folder and slid documents forward one at a time. Updated trust papers. Revised estate documents. Property sale agreement. Daniel looked confused. Vanessa stared harder. Last week, I said. I met with my attorney and financial planner. The room went still. I sold the Cape Cod cabin yesterday. Daniel's mouth opened. What? The proceeds are being transferred into a charitable trust supporting widowed women facing housing insecurity. Vanessa's expression froze. I slid one final document forward. And this, I said, is the updated version of my will. Vanessa stared at the updated will as if the paper itself had insulted her. For several seconds nobody moved. The refrigerator hummed. The wind pressed against the windows. Somewhere upstairs, Lily's music box played faintly through the ceiling. A thin, sweet melody from a child's room, floating over a table full of adult disappointment. Daniel picked up the document slowly. His eyes moved across the first page. Then the second. His confusion became disbelief. Mom, he said carefully, what is this? It means I made some changes. Vanessa recovered first. She leaned back and forced a laugh. Margaret, surely this isn't because of the restaurant conversation. No, I said. This is because I finally understood my place in this family. Daniel looked up. What does that mean? I met his eyes. It means I spent years confusing love with financial obligation. Vanessa's warmth disappeared. That is unfair, she said. I looked at her. Nobody forced you to help us, she added. No, I said softly. You just learned to expect it. Daniel rubbed his forehead. Mom, we are family. I almost smiled. There it was again. The word they used every time they needed something. Healthy families respect each other, I said. They do not joke about someone being a human bank account at Thanksgiving dinner. Daniel's face changed. Vanessa rolled her eyes. Oh my God. You are still upset about that joke. It stopped being a joke when I realized you believed it. The room fell quiet. For once, neither of them had a polished answer ready. Daniel looked at Vanessa. Did you mean it that way? She gave him a sharp look. Daniel, don't be ridiculous. I reached into my purse and placed my phone on the table. Then perhaps you can explain this voicemail. Vanessa went completely still. I pressed play. Her voice filled the room. I think your mom will do it if we make it emotional enough. She still feels guilty anytime he struggles financially. As long as she feels needed, she'll keep paying. If we can get her to refinance the house. I stopped the recording. Daniel's face had gone pale. Vanessa whispered, You were not supposed to hear that. The honesty of that sentence almost impressed me. Not I'm sorry. Not that was wrong. Just frustration that the curtain had slipped. Daniel turned toward her. You said that. Vanessa's posture stiffened. I was venting privately. About manipulating my mother, he asked. She stood. Don't make me the villain because I'm the only one thinking practically. I watched Daniel absorb that. He was not innocent. I knew that. He had benefited from every check, every bailout, every silence. But hearing manipulation spoken aloud made it harder for him to hide inside vagueness. I folded my hands in my lap. I am not refinancing my home, I said. I am not funding the restaurant. And beginning next month, I am ending all recurring financial support. Daniel turned back. Mom. No, my voice was not loud. That made it stronger. You are 41 years old. It is time to build a life that does not depend on your mother rescuing you. Vanessa's eyes hardened. So that's it? After everything we've been through together? I looked at her. That is an interesting sentence from someone who introduced me as the family bank account in front of my granddaughter. She looked away first. Daniel sank back into his chair. I never realized you felt this way, he said quietly. I believed him. That was the sad part. Entitlement rarely feels cruel to the person receiving the benefits. That is because I spent years protecting you from consequences, I said, including the consequences of hurting me. Nobody spoke after that. A few minutes later I stood and buttoned my coat. Lily was asleep upstairs. Part of me was grateful. Children should not have to watch adults destroy illusions. Daniel walked me to the door. Before I stepped outside, he said, I'm sorry, Mom. I looked at him. He seemed sincere. Sad. Ashamed. But some apologies arrive only after people realize the benefits are ending. I know, I said. Then I stepped into the cold December night feeling lighter than I had in years. The next morning my phone began ringing before 8. Daniel. Then Vanessa. Then Carol. Then Daniel again. I let the calls go to voicemail. At my age, peace becomes something you stop apologizing for protecting. I made coffee, toasted an English muffin, and opened the curtains. Frost had gathered on the edges of the kitchen windows. The backyard looked pale and still. Richard's bird feeder swung slightly in the wind, empty because I had forgotten to refill it. I stood there with my coffee and watched 2 cardinals land on the fence. Richard used to say cardinals were visitors. I did not know if I believed that, but I watched them anyway. By noon Vanessa sent a text. I think last night got emotional. We should all sit down again when everyone is calmer. Then another. Please don't punish Lily for adult misunderstandings. Then, Daniel is devastated. I placed the phone face down. That was the problem with manipulators. Even their apologies arrive holding someone else hostage. Carol called again that afternoon. This time I answered. Margaret, she said gently, are you okay? I am. A long pause. I should have said something at Thanksgiving. Yes, I replied. Her breath caught. I know. I'm sorry. I sat at the kitchen table tracing the rim of my mug. Why didn't you? Carol was quiet. I didn't want to make it worse. That sentence. How many cruel things survive because everyone nearby does not want to make it worse? I understand, I said. But understanding is not the same as absolving. She sighed. Vanessa has been calling around. She says you humiliated them. I looked toward the dining room, where my old silver tray sat polished on the sideboard. I suppose humiliation feels different when it travels in the opposite direction. Carol did not answer. That evening Daniel came by without calling. I saw his headlights in the driveway and felt my whole body tense. Not fear. Habit. The body remembers years of emotional responsibility. He stood on the porch in a dark coat, looking tired. When I opened the door, he held his hands in his pockets. Can I come in? I stepped aside. He walked into the living room and looked around as if seeing the house for the first time. His childhood photographs were still on the mantel. Soccer uniform. Missing front tooth. College graduation. Wedding day. He stopped at a picture of himself and Richard fishing. Dad loved that trip, he said. He did. Daniel swallowed. Vanessa is furious. I assumed. She says you blindsided us. I looked at him. Did I? He dropped his eyes. No, the word was small, but it was there. We sat across from each other in the living room, the same room where he had opened Christmas presents as a child, the same room where Richard's hospital bed had been placed near the end because the stairs became too difficult. Daniel looked toward the corner where the bed once stood. I forgot how much Dad suffered here, he said. You did not live here then. I should have been here more. I said nothing. He rubbed his palms against his jeans. Mom, I don't know how things got this bad. They got bad slowly, I said. He nodded. I kept telling myself you wanted to help. I did, I said. That was not the same as wanting to be used. His eyes filled, but he looked away quickly. There was still pride in him. Shame too. A man can be sorry and still not yet brave. What happens now? He asked. You and Vanessa make your own financial decisions. And us. I looked at my son for a long moment. I don't know. That was the most honest answer I had. He looked wounded by it. But uncertainty was kinder than a lie. When he left, he hugged me carefully, like someone approaching a fragile object he had already cracked. At the door he said, I love you, Mom. I wanted those words to fix everything. They did not. I love you too, I said. Because I did. Love does not disappear just because trust has been damaged. That is what makes betrayal hurt. January came quietly. After the holidays, the world always seemed stripped down. Trees at the curb. Dark afternoons. Grocery stores full of soup ingredients and discounted wrapping paper. For the first time in years, I did not host Christmas. Vanessa sent one message on Christmas Eve. Lily misses you. I replied, please tell her I love her. That was all. It hurt. Of course it hurt. Boundaries do not remove pain. They only stop you from continuing to fund your own injury. On Christmas morning, I made pancakes for myself and burned the first one because I was distracted. Richard used to burn pancakes and claim he liked them with character. I ate at the small kitchen table instead of the dining room. 1 plate, 1 fork, 1 glass of orange juice. The silence was heavy, but it was honest. Later, Judith from the walking group called. "A few of us are having coffee tomorrow," she said. "You should." Come. I don't want to intrude. Margaret, at our age, everyone is intruding on someone's loneliness. Come. So I did. There were 5 women at the cafe. Widows, divorcees, one never-married retired school principal named Elaine, who had the sharpest humor I had ever heard. They talked about knee replacements, property taxes, grandchildren, books, bad dates, and the strange feeling of becoming invisible in stores. No one asked me for money. No one hinted. No one studied my purse like it contained solutions. I went home lighter. In February, I met with my attorney again. Her name was Andrea Miller, a practical woman in her 50s with reading glasses on a chain and a voice that made complicated things feel manageable. "We need to be very clear," she said. "Your estate plan should reflect your wishes, not your guilt." I laughed softly. That may be the most expensive sentence anyone has ever said to me. She smiled. "I say it often. We reviewed everything. The house would remain mine during my lifetime. After my death, part of the estate would go into a trust for Lily's education, managed independently until she was 30. Not through Daniel. Not through Vanessa. A portion would go to the widow's housing charity. A smaller portion would remain available to Daniel only under conditions that protected the assets from debt claims and poor financial decisions. It was not revenge. It was responsibility. That mattered to me. I did not want to become cruel in response to cruelty. I wanted to become clear. When I signed the documents, my hand trembled slightly. Andrea noticed. "Are you all right?" "Yes," I said. "I just never imagined protecting myself from my own family." Her expression softened. "Many people don't. Until they have to." Afterward, I drove home slowly. The house looked different when I pulled into the driveway. For years, I had seen it as something I was preserving for Daniel. A future inheritance. A final gift. Now I saw the chipped porch step Richard had promised to repair before he got sick. The bedroom window where I used to watch for Daniel's car when he was out late as a teenager. The maple tree we planted the year Lily was born. This house was not waiting to be handed over. It was still holding me. That evening, I polished the silver serving tray. The one Vanessa had moved beside herself at Thanksgiving. I took my time. The tarnish came off slowly, dark streaks staining the cloth. Underneath, the metal brightened. Richard's mother had given it to us with a note, "For all the meals that become memories." I ran my fingers over the engraved edge. For months, I had felt like Vanessa had taken something from me that night. My place. My dignity. My history. But she had not taken it. She had only revealed that I had been letting other people handle what should have stayed mine. I placed the tray in the center of my dining table. Not for guests. Not for photographs. For me. Spring arrived slowly. The snow melted from the edges of the driveway first, leaving dirty patches of grass and flattened leaves. Crocuses appeared near the mailbox, purple and stubborn. I had not seen Lily since early December. That was the hardest part. Vanessa controlled access with the precision of someone who knew exactly where the softest spot was. First she sent photos. Lily at school. Lily with a missing tooth. Lily holding a Valentine's card. Then when I did not respond the way she wanted, the photos slowed. Daniel called occasionally. Our conversations were careful. "How are you?" he would ask. "I'm fine." "How's the walking group?" "Good." Then silence. We were learning how to speak without money between us, and neither of us was very good at it yet. One Saturday in April, Daniel called. "Mom, Lily wants to see you." I closed my eyes. "When?" "Tomorrow, maybe. Just for lunch." "Will Vanessa be there?" A pause. No, that told me more than he intended. I made chicken salad, lemonade, and the oatmeal cookies Lily liked. I set the kitchen table for 3, then removed one place setting because Daniel said he would drop her off and run errands. When his car pulled into the driveway, my hands were damp. Lily ran up the walkway carrying a small backpack. Grandma! I knelt carefully and hugged her. She smelled like strawberry shampoo and cold air. Daniel stood near the porch. She's excited, he said. So am I. His eyes met mine. Thank you. I nodded. Inside, Lily walked around the house as if checking whether anything had changed. Mommy said you were busy now, she said. I stirred lemonade slowly. Sometimes adults say things when they do not know how to explain complicated feelings. She accepted that, the way children accept partial truths when they sense love underneath. At lunch, she told me about school, a girl named Avery who stole markers, and a science project involving lima beans. Then she looked at the dining room. Grandma. Yes. Why didn't you come for Christmas? The question landed quietly. I sat across from her watching her small fingers crumble a cookie. I missed you very much. I missed you too. I needed some quiet time, I said carefully. Sometimes grown-ups get hurt, and they need time to feel better before they can be around everyone. Did Mommy hurt your feelings? Children see more than adults think. I did not want to lie, and I did not want to place adult weight on her shoulders. Some things happen between the grown-ups, I said. But none of it is your fault. And I love you exactly the same. She nodded slowly. Then she said, Mommy said you were mad because you didn't want us to have the restaurant. I took a breath. What do you think? Lily shrugged. I don't know. Daddy looked sad when she said it. There it was. The family story being rewritten in real time. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Just in a kitchen through a child. I reached across the table and squeezed her hand. Lily, sometimes people want something very badly, and they get upset when the answer is no. But saying no does not mean you stopped loving them. She looked at me for a long moment. Can I still come here? My throat tightened. Always. When Daniel picked her up, she hugged me twice. At the car, Daniel watched us with an expression I could not read. After Lily buckled herself in, he turned to me. She asked a lot of questions. She is old enough to notice silence. He nodded. Vanessa thinks you're turning her against us. I answered carefully. I know. He looked tired. She's angry all the time now. Vanessa. He gave a humorless laugh. Who else? I looked at my son. Standing in the spring sunlight, no longer quite the boy I remembered. Not yet the man he needed to become. Daniel, I said. Anger is not always strength. Sometimes it is fear losing control. He looked down. I'm starting to understand that. Not enough. But it was something. After they left, I stood in the driveway until the car disappeared. Inside, Lily had left one oatmeal cookie half-eaten on a napkin. For some reason, that small unfinished cookie made me cry harder than Thanksgiving had. By summer, the restaurant deal was gone. I heard it from Carol, not Daniel. Apparently another buyer had taken the space in January. Vanessa blamed me openly at first, then shifted blame to the market, the bank, Daniel's hesitation, and family betrayal. The phrase almost made me laugh. Almost. At a 4th of July barbecue at Carol's house, I saw several relatives for the first time since Thanksgiving. I almost did not go. Judith told me, go if you want to go. Not to prove anything. Not to punish anyone. Just because you are allowed to exist where your name is known. So I wore a navy dress, Richard's pearls, and comfortable shoes. Carol's backyard smelled of charcoal, cut grass, sunscreen, and potato salad. Children ran through sprinklers. Men stood near the grill pretending burgers required supervision. Women carried trays from the kitchen. When I arrived, conversations dipped for half a second. Not stopped. Dipped. That was enough. Vanessa was there in white linen pants and sunglasses, standing near the patio with a group of cousins. Daniel saw me first. He crossed the yard. Mom. Hello, sweetheart. He kissed my cheek. Vanessa looked over but did not come. For once I did not go to her. That was new. I found a chair beneath the maple tree and sat beside Carol. She handed me iced tea. You look good, she said. I sleep better. She smiled faintly. That will do it. Across the yard, Vanessa laughed too loudly at something. Her laugh had an edge now. Performance under pressure. Later, I went inside to help Carol carry dessert. In the hallway, I heard voices from the dining room. Vanessa. She acts like we robbed her. It was a family investment. Another voice said, but asking her to refinance her house was a lot. Vanessa snapped. People her age sit on assets while younger families drown. People her age. Assets. Younger families. I stood with my hand on the dessert plate and felt strangely calm. A year earlier those words would have cut me open. Now they confirmed the wound had a source. I stepped into the dining room. Vanessa stopped speaking. The cousin beside her looked mortified. I placed the plate on the table. Vanessa, I said. Her chin lifted. Margaret. I heard you. Color rose in her face. I was speaking privately. That seems to be when you are most honest. The cousin looked at the floor. Vanessa's mouth tightened. You've really enjoyed making me the villain, haven't you? No, I said. I would have preferred you never gave me reason. She laughed bitterly. You think you're so dignified. I looked at her carefully. There was anger in her, yes, but beneath it was panic. She had built too much of her life on access, to Daniel, to appearances, to my money, to the story that she was the capable one. Boundaries had made the foundation visible. I think dignity is what remains when people stop rewarding your performance, I said. She stared at me. For once she had no quick answer. Outside someone called for dessert. I turned and walked back to the yard. That was the confrontation. No shouting. No dramatic applause. Just a middle-aged woman losing control of a narrative, and an older woman refusing to help her rebuild it. Later Daniel found me near the fence. I'm sorry about that. Did you hear her? Enough. And he looked toward the patio where Vanessa stood alone now, arms crossed. I don't know what happens with us. It was the first time he had said us and meant his marriage, not his mother's money. I felt no satisfaction, only sadness. I cannot tell you what to do, I said. I know. But I can tell you this. A person who needs someone beneath them to feel secure will eventually make everyone small. He closed his eyes briefly. I should have stopped it sooner. Yes, I said. He nodded. No excuses. That mattered. On my way home, fireworks began in the distance. Red and gold bursts over. Dark trees. I pulled over near the town green and watched for a few minutes through my windshield. All my life I had thought emotional justice would feel like victory. It did not. It felt quieter. Like returning something heavy that never belonged to me. The following Thanksgiving, I did not drive north on Interstate 95. I did not roast a turkey at dawn. I did not pack pies into my Buick. I did not polish Vanessa's image with my labor. Instead, I rented a small room at a coastal inn in Maine overlooking the Atlantic. The decision surprised even me. For weeks I had considered staying home, making soup, watching old movies, letting the day pass. But Judith said, grief loves an empty house. Don't feed it too much. So I booked the inn. The drive was long but peaceful. Bare trees, gray sky, small towns with wreaths on lampposts, gas stations serving bad coffee, the Atlantic appearing suddenly beyond the road, steel blue and restless. My room was on the second floor. Small, clean, with a quilted bedspread and a window facing the water. I placed Richard's photograph on the nightstand. Then I sat on the edge of the bed and listened to waves. Thanksgiving dinner was served downstairs at 6. I almost did not go. I stood in front of the mirror longer than necessary, adjusting my pearl earrings. The woman looking back at me was older than the one who had driven to Daniel's house the year before, but not smaller. That mattered. The dining room smelled like cinnamon with smoke, turkey, and fresh bread. Strangers sat at round tables. Some couples. Few families. 2 older women traveling together. A man reading alone near the fireplace. The hostess led me to a small table by the window. One for dinner, she asked kindly. Yes, I said. The word did not shame me. Not anymore. I had just unfolded my napkin when a woman at the next table leaned over. Are you alone too? She was about my age, maybe a little older, with silver hair cut neatly at her chin and blue glasses hanging from a chain. I am, I said. Then you should join me. I'm Helen. My children think Arizona is the only acceptable place to spend holidays, and I think heat after September is a character flaw. I laughed. A real laugh. The first one that day. I moved to her table. By the time soup arrived, we had already exchanged the basic facts of widowhood. Her husband, Frank, had died 5 years earlier. Richard had been gone 9. She had 2 daughters, one attentive but busy, one spiritually allergic to responsibility, as Helen put it. We talked through turkey, cranberry sauce, and pumpkin pie. Not dramatically. Not as victims. Just as women who had lived long enough to understand that families can be both love and wound. At one point, Helen asked, "Do you miss them today?" I looked out the window. Snow had begun falling lightly over the dark water. "Yes," I said. "But I do not miss who I had to become around them." She nodded like she understood exactly. After dinner, I took coffee out to the enclosed porch. The ocean was nearly black. Lights from fishing boats blinked in the distance. My phone buzzed. "Daniel. Happy Thanksgiving, Mom. Lily misses you." "I do too." A moment later, "I know things are different. I'm trying." I read the message twice. Then I typed, "Happy Thanksgiving, sweetheart. Give Lily my love." I stopped there. No money. No rescue. No emotion overextension. Just love. Boundaried love. The next morning, I walked along the shore with my coat buttoned to my chin. The wind was sharp enough to make my eyes water. Pebbles shifted under my shoes. Gulls cried overhead. I thought about the woman I had been the year before, standing in Vanessa's kitchen with her hands in dishwater, listening to herself be discussed like an account balance. I wanted to go back and put my arms around her. Tell her she was not foolish for loving. Tell her generosity was not the mistake. The mistake was giving without boundaries to people who had stopped seeing the giver. When I returned to the inn, Helen was in the lobby with 2 coffees. "I got you one," she said. I accepted it. No one had asked me for anything. No one needed a check. No one hinted at investment. No one looked at me like an opportunity. I was simply there. And someone had saved me coffee. After everything, that small kindness felt richer than every dollar I had ever given away. Because this story was never truly about money. It was about sitting at a table for years and realizing your chair had slowly been turned away from the family. It was about learning that being needed is not the same as being loved. It was about a widow finding out that silence can hurt, but it can also protect. And it was about dignity, the kind no one can inherit, the kind you reclaim quietly, one no at a time.